Coming up on this edition of Speed Chronicles, new faces, new places.
Zig Media presents
Speed Chronicles with Todd Lewis.
Powered by Rev TV.
Thanks for tuning in this week to Speed Chronicles. We do it every Wednesday. You can check it out on the Rev TV YouTube channel or, of course, your favorite podcast platform. We appreciate you following on all the social channels as well. Please hit the like button and subscribe. And again, feel free to share it around. We do it every week. Talk about motorsports, some results, but not really super focused on it. Lots of business, lots of other stories involving motorsports and racing as well. So there's lots happening. We had a full slate of events coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that shortly. Had a good time at the NASCAR Canada Series race last weekend at Circuit ICAR in Mirabel, Quebec. I love the passion of the Quebec racing fans. I've talked about it before, but I want to mention it again. It's part of their fiber. It's part of the culture. It's not just show up 10 minutes before the start of the feature race as you do with some events, or you see people at some events. They had lots of fans, had a great turnout. 10:15 in the morning, the NASCAR Canada Series hit the track with practice. There were lots of bums in the seats already. It's come and make a day of it, and it's an event. It's a happening. It's really just a pleasure to see. IndyCar had themselves a pretty good race at Milwaukee as well, not just on the track, but hey, they had a good crowd in the seats. They have partnerships that they have formed for this event. You know, I was really skeptical about it when they said, we're going back to Milwaukee. I'd heard that initially tickets were slow last year, but redeemed themselves, had a pretty decent race, had a pretty decent crowd, and they've done so again. So they've taken another step forward. That's good to see. I'm happy to see it, that they get an oval back, because that's big for a lot of people, that they have to have a certain number of oval races. It's a heritage track, if you will, been around for an awful long time. So that's good for them. It was a nice step in the right direction for IndyCar. Hey, you know, still the TV ratings are what the TV ratings are. And I think there's the realization now is that, okay, this is our fan base. It's not that big. Now we got to set about growing it. IMSA was at VIR. One of the big visuals, of course, that was making the rounds was the shocking crash/fire video of the Lamborghini of Danny Formal, who had a huge spin and was in a ball of fire. He slides into the barrier, and needless to say, he was exiting the car rather quickly. When you see something like this, you understand why racers are so fearful and talk so much about fire. You're in a race car cockpit and you are strapped in by a harness. And if there's a fire, okay, now I got to extricate myself from this. It's understandable that there's such a concern and fear about it, and understandably so. Thankfully, okay, got a little bit scorched and talked about it, but he was okay. Safety systems worked as they were supposed to. It was good to see. I mentioned IndyCar a couple of seconds ago. Alex Palou did not win last week. I know, shocking. He was run down by Christian Rasmussen, who scored his first victory in the IndyCar series. That was kind of nice to see. First-time winners are always special, always kind of nice to see. Christian Rasmussen has been really the talk of IndyCar for the last little while because of run-ins that he's had on track with Connor Daly, with Santino Ferrucci, and others. He races hard. He's just in his second year, but he races hard. He races for keeps. That's what you have to do to win. A Chevy one, too, which is kind of interesting. Alex Palou's name in the news again, not for a win, you know, the championship he locked up already, but apparently there has been a story floating around suggesting that he is perhaps to be considered for a seat in Formula One with Red Bull. Now, we've done the Alex Palou dance with Formula One previously, and this one is an interesting theory. Not sure that I believe it, but you know what? At least it's an interesting theory. And I'll say that I have no doubt that given time to learn tracks, learn about Formula One, and get himself comfortable, and of course, tons and tons and tons of seat time and testing in the cars, I have no doubt he could be successful. He could be competitive. I'm wondering if this is someone theorizing that, hey, maybe if we had a 4-time IndyCar champion in the car at Red Bull And if Max Verstappen does decide to leave after the 2026 season, then you've got a bona fide contender, champion, top flight driver still as a number one driver. It's a theory. Perhaps it's an interesting theory. Certainly, I think a little more believable to me than the suggestion that some made that Colton Herta would leave his IndyCar ride and go race in F2 next year to get enough super license points that he could move up to Formula One. Didn't really see that one happening. Anyhow, it's an interesting theory about Palou. Not really buying it, though, especially since Cadillac has now announced their drivers as well, that those seats are not available. Not that Palou would be considering one of those. And I think the move to select Valtteri Bottas and Checo Perez is solid for Cadillac. There's no expectation with this team right now, other than they will have cars on the grid, and when the red lights go out next year, they hopefully are able to race. That's got to be the only expectation for Cadillac. They're certainly not going to be expected to win. They're not going to be expected to achieve an awful lot of points. So who do you want as your drivers? Drivers that are smart, that can give you a lot of technical information, that can shake down cars, understand where your deficiencies are, how to quickly improve them, how to be better. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the kind of driver. Checo Perez, Valtteri Bottas, they satisfy that. Those are good choices as the first drivers for Cadillac. No, they're not American. I don't think that's a big deal right now. It will become one at some point. Also, how about the launch and the announcement of those drivers? Both appeared on the Good Morning America Network morning show when the announcement was made that Cadillac had selected them as their drivers. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. That is as Main Street a television program as you will find, a network morning show. ESPN, ABC, same ownership, so that's the synergy there. But understanding that F1 is a big deal and it is a big business, and getting them on, that's a real coup. That's a great job, and well done by that Cadillac team. Other driver news. This in NASCAR, Connor Zilich officially announced as the replacement for Daniel Suarez moving up to the Cup Series next year. He's ready. I thought about it earlier this year when it was first coming out, speculation that he might move up, wondered if a second year in Xfinity might be beneficial to him. And now, after seeing him race, he's got nothing left to prove there. I don't know that there's anything that he can learn there that he can't learn in the Cup Series and be in the Cup Series. He's got nothing to prove. He is an established top flight racer, prospect, and is going to be very good for many, many years to come. But as far as Xfinity, soon to be O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, he's got nothing left there. Let him go Cup racing and let him become the star that he is going to be. I'm just so impressed with Connor Zilich. He is smart. He is well-spoken. He is humble. He is eager to learn. He's a team player as well. He just gets it. He is the kind of franchise player in NASCAR that you want on your team. I can see him winning a lot of races. I can see him winning championships for many, many years to come. He could be you say the next big star, and there will be other stars as well, but he could be that next level star above some of the others. When you see him talking about racing, when you see him talking about anything, he's a 19-year-old kid, just turned 19 years old and having fun. He is all business. He is a very mature young man. I don't know him particularly well, but we've met and I've interviewed him. He's just turned 19. He's smart, well-spoken, totally about improving his craft and learning and developing and winning races. And he's still got that fun, youthful appeal factor for fans as well that will draw them in and draw them to his team. He's a young guy who likes to go out, race cars, have fun. It will serve him well for many years to come, and he's going to be fun to watch. Last week, I talked about NASCAR bringing the heat in terms of the ongoing legal drama with the two teams and the lawsuit that started last fall and continues to go on with 2311 Front Row Motorsports, all the charter stuff. NASCAR delivered another high inside pitch this week saying they've got interested parties in the charters and they want to sell them, and they want to sell them soon, and they want to get these potential new teams time to ramp up to compete in 2026. This is a serious legal fight that has been going on for months, and NASCAR is all business about it. In terms of the millions of dollars that are at stake here, it is huge. 2311 says they'll be out of business if they lose the charters and this. NASCAR is pushing this one as hard as they can. They are hell-bent on securing a dismissal, securing a judgment. They do not want this to go to trial. They want this resolved as quickly as they can in their favor. If it pushes the team to settle it and fall in line, they're happy with that. But they are going hard at this. This is important to NASCAR. It seems vitally important to 2311 and Front Row as well. And I'm not sure what's going to happen, what the result's going to be. Again, NASCAR does not want this to go to trial. They want this resolved. They want the judgment in their favor. They want a dismissal of these lawsuits. Who's going to blink first is looking like what this comes down to. And I don't think it's going to be NASCAR. I think the teams now have to figure a way to move forward, to secure their charters. They're still trying the legal route, trying to get this into trial and get across that finish line. I don't know if they can make it. Aside from all this business and legal stuff that's going on, we've got racing coming up this weekend. It is a big weekend with a lot of cool motorsports events. Some are saying, oh, it's Labor Day. It's the end of summer. Let's not look at it that way. Let's look at it as a big weekend of summer. Still going to have great weather in a lot of areas for a long time to come. We'll get back into the fall and back to school routine and stuff. And I know that stupid pumpkin spice stuff is available everywhere now, but let's not get rid of summer too quickly. Fall's fine, but let's not get rid of summer too quickly. NASCAR Canada, big weekend this weekend at CTMP. The Trans Am Series is also racing at CTMP this weekend. It's a nice doubleheader weekend. They'll have great crowds. IndyCar season comes to an end this weekend. Nashville, Labor Day weekend. That's it. It's over. Then the long off season begins. They'll be back at it again in February in St. Pete to kick off in 2026. There's lots to talk about with IndyCar, and we're going to have a long off season to do that. So we'll reserve some of those topics for the next few months. Curious how to see how that business goes in the off season for IndyCar and how much of a Fox influence there is on the business moving forward. Formula One is also back in action after their summer holiday. NASCAR's at Darlington. There is a lot to enjoy this weekend in motorsports. So thanks for checking out this week's edition of Speed Chronicles. We appreciate it. Again, please like, subscribe, share it along if you're a fan. We appreciate the thoughts and feedback as well. Have a great long weekend. Enjoy the racing. We'll do it again next Wednesday.